Who is Tom Kim? Could he be the next big thing the game is about to witness? I mean, Jordan Spieth smiled in his direction, and Billy Horschel commended him after an impressive outing at the Wyndham Championship. And most importantly, everybody seems to be talking about him. In today's video, we'll be talking about Tom Kim and how he seems to be taking the golf world by storm, so stay tuned. Kim Joo-young, also known as Tom Kim, was born on June 21, 2002, in Seoul, South Korea. His dad, Kim Chang-ik, was a professional golfer who played one season on the Buy.com Tour, now known as the Korn Ferry Tour, before turning to golf teaching. Kim's given name is Joo-young, but as a boy, he was so smitten with Thomas the Tank Engine that he gave himself the name Thomas, which he eventually shortened to Tom. Thomas the Tank is a character in the famous British children's book who doesn't possess the pedigree or strength of the mightier locomotives, but constantly finds himself overachieving in the rail yard. He had the whole Thomas the Train thing, the toys, the lunchbox, everything. We all had our favorite shows or toys as kids, so imagine being able to name yourself after them. What an incredible move by Tom. And so everyone, including his brother and his parents, addressed him as Tom. Not surprisingly, Twitter has taken it and is already running with it. Like many other pro golfers, Tom had taken a shot at cricket, Australian football, and even basketball, but nothing seemed to click till he took a shot at golf at age 6, which seemed to follow naturally. Despite his father being a former pro, Chang never pressured little Tom into hitting the links. Golf was like a thing Thomas never got tired of. He picked up golf at age 6 when he started following his father to the local golf course, and that was when his love for the game began. Soon his family moved to Australia when he was still a child, and when his parents couldn't afford the cost of living, they decided to move to the Philippines, and there Kim's golf thrived even more. It'll amaze you to know that Tom has lived in Australia, the Philippines, China, South Korea, and even Thailand. And the best part is that he speaks 3 languages, including English. Tom has really great and supportive parents, but don't ask me why I said so. I'll crack anyway. The decision to move to the Philippines wasn't just taken because of the fair cost of living. Tom's parents felt it'll be a nice place for the family and a lovely start for his golf career. Also, Tom didn't attend a regular school like his peers. Instead, he was homeschooled, allowing him to play as much golf as possible. Although golf is not a popular game over there, Tom was lucky, as one of the top clubs in the country offered him a deal to play for its team. This deal gave him full access to the club's facilities, which was very significant at the time for a country where golf is not among the 5 most played sports. At the time, everything seemed to be working in his favor, receiving a deal coming with such facilities, including a place to practice at just 13. It was evident he had just begun. Kim knew not everyone would receive such an opportunity on a platter, so he became more serious about developing his skills and turning pro. However, he was the only player to make it out of that system onto the PGA. In no time, Kim won all the big amateur tournaments in the Philippines, including the Philippine Junior Amateur and the Philippine Amateur Open Championship, which he won in 2017 and 2018 respectively. Despite his achievements, college scouts weren't coming for me, but Kim never gave up. College scouts weren't coming after me, and my goal was always to turn pro, so I decided to do it early, Kim said. With his eyes still set on becoming a pro, Tom felt the best way to develop his game faster was to turn professional, and that was exactly what he did. Before he turned 15, the family migrated again, but this time it was Thailand, because Tom could play professional golf there. But he didn't till he became 16, the minimum age to feature an Asian Tour Q school. Although Tom didn't get through the Q school as he faced tough competition, he managed to get status after securing 3 victories on the developmental tour. And did you know, Tom was the smallest guy in every of the tournament? Yeah, he actually was, and he did quite well for a boy of his age and height. Imagine a small kid hitting 2 clubs more into the green and the taller ones. Crazy. And maybe he was already a trash talker as much as he is now. Oh well, we'll get to that later. Tom's movement came from his ability to make the most out of very little. His accuracy improved. The more he secured more victories that he got so good and reliable with long irons than the short ones. Here's a fun fact. Tom's dad, Chang-ik, caddied for him to save costs and other expenses. Tom found himself playing for $50,000 purses at a time he had no financial security, so he had to play his best to ensure he kept playing week in, week out. Even when he secured victories in tournaments, his dad would teach him the act of prudence. Instead of treating himself to expensive dinners, he made sure Tom remained focused on the game. Kim worked his way through developmental tours in his continent, but the COVID-19 pandemic slowed his path. Although before the COVID-19 golfing shutdown, Kim had played in 4 2020 Asian Tour events. The young pro golfer finished T4th in the Singapore Open and T4th in New Zealand's Open, banking close to $100,000 in prize money. The Asian Tour didn't play for 2 years, so he returned to Korea and competed on the Korean Tour in 2020 and later in 2021. Kim finally felt how nice it was to be at home. Knowing where home is and being comfortable in a place you can practice, sleep, and eat makes you feel mentally clear and refreshed on the course. I know you know what I mean. While in Korea, Kim had just one goal: to prepare for Korn Ferry Q School, but somehow he didn't make it through. However, 8 months after the start of the 2022 season, something happened that would later change his entire life. Kim defeated Ratanan Wanasrishan in a playoff to win the 2022 Singapore International. The following week, at the SMBC Singapore Open, he recorded a runner-up, seeing him finish as the leading money winner of the 2020, 21, 22 Asian Tour season. Later in July, Kim finished solo third at a co-sanctioned event between the European Tour and the PGA Tour, the Genesis Scottish Open. Kim earned entry to the tournament through the Korea Professional Golfers Association, or the KPGA. Kim became eligible for special temporary membership on the PGA Tour with a T47 finish at the 2022 Open Championship for the remainder of the 2021-22 season. He didn't just work for his PGA Tour card for the 2022-23 season. He earned it with a 7th place finish at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Not long after, Kim shot a final round 61 to win the Wyndham Championship and gain entry into the 2022 FedEx Cup playoffs. At the Wyndham Championship, the pro golfer began the tournament with a quadruple bogey 8 and finished it with a 9-under 61 for a 5-shot victory. There are just too many superlatives to attach to Kim's incredible 5-shot win at Sedgefield Country Club after posting a 20-under 260 total. Owing to his series of victories, here are 5 things you should know about the South Korean pro golfer. Since 1932, Kim has been the second youngest winner on the PGA Tour at 20, trailing only Jordan Spieth. He's also the first player born in the 2000s to win on tour. Since 1983, Kim has been the first player to make a quadruple bogey on the first hole and go on to win the tournament, and only the 5th player to make a quad and win. As of 1983, hole-by-hole stats were first kept. With a Sunday 61 that included an absurd 27 on the front 9, Kim posted the 5th lowest final round score by a winner since 1983 and became the first pro to pull off the Sunday 61 and win since Rory McIlroy at the 2019 RBC Canadian Open. Since the pro golfer only had special temporary status coming into Greensboro, Kim needed to win outright to make the playoffs, as no other outcome would get him full status and an entry into next week's first leg in Memphis, and he did it. Also, he accomplished it all while playing his 5th straight week and in brutally hot, humid weather. Like Colin Morikawa and Jordan Spieth, Kim carries himself with a poise belying his years. Tom's celebration, when pouring in his par on the 18th hole, a subtle fist pump, broadcasts a story not of a wild upstart victor, but of someone who fully expected to be there. And it turns out he did. I have a very high expectation for myself, and so does my team. We expect the highest, Tom said, and it hasn't been easy. It might look easy for people, but it takes a lot of work behind the scenes. I'm just starting out, and I have a whole lot ahead of me. It's like buying a car and having to push the pedal, Kim said. Kim acknowledges that he's mature for his age. However, his temperament reads friendly and jovial, and he makes himself a joker among his team. He's the kind of person who can talk about his work ethic in one breath, then briefly describe his parents' logistical duties in service of his golfing career as a pain in the ass with an easy smile. He's willful and a trash talker too. Remember, he gave himself the nickname Thomas, which he later shortened to Tom as a child because he was a fan of the show, but also because he refused to accept that his parents had the authority to name him without him having an input. Kim has clearly delighted at getting his PGA Tour card, and the thought of having his first shot and handing the mighty Team America its first loss since 1998 has him more excited. He said, "I've dreamt of this opportunity as a kid. Representing the international team is an absolute honor, so I'm super excited," he said. Tom Kim is bold, full of laughter, brave, strong, and void of fear. Thomas the Tank is on the fast track, and he's set to take the world by storm. Let us know your thoughts about the 21-year-old South Korean pro golfer. Have we seen the best of him? Have a blessed day, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.